Greetings, the tubes. It is me again, guy with slightly less funny hat. Uh, Today for our regular Sunday sermon, and what better place to do it at than one of my favorite places to hang out, a cemetery. In this case, this is the Rosedale Cemetery in Los Angeles, and yeah, that's a lot of granite. a, a quirk that I picked up from my father over the years. For some strange reason, whenever he wanted to have a serious talk with me or something, it always ended up in a cemetery. Uh, which, thinking back, I guess if you wanted to add gravity to the conversation, that was the way to do it. But I've always had a bit of an affinity for cemeteries. They seem to be conducive to deep contemplation. Um, and and especially the older cemeteries. Although in the United States, you don't have any that are really very old. 1870s seems to be about the most common one. This one seems to have gone into business around 1890, I think. Which in California terms is forever. In the rest of the world terms, it's not a blip. But today's great insights, or this week's great insights, if there are any, is, wandering through this cemetery reminds me that nothing is permanent, not even death. For all those arrogant pricks out there that had to build monuments to themselves, not so much on this end. The other side of the cemetery has got some really impressive monuments. And strangely enough, the really big mausoleums with all the trappings on it, those are dead politicians, brewers, real estate investors, and speculators mostly, and a couple of businessmen. So yeah, if you're thinking, good old Graham, who raised 15 kids through the Great Depression, was going to have a 40-foot tall pinnacle to her own ego. Surprise, no. Not the way it went at all. But I look at this place and all these great markers, monuments to people's egos. I want to be remembered for all time. Nobody's remembering this. Nobody's remembering this. Nobody's coming to visit. The tombstones, some of them are so worn you can't read them anymore. They get knocked over. They get tilted sideways. If you look around with any concentrations, I mean, anyone who could have cared or known who these people are is gone or quit caring a long time ago. And if you're trying to make it all about you, this is what you're going to end up with. Dead rock in a forgotten spot that no one cares about anymore. You want to invest? You invest in the living world, not the dead one. And it amazes me that, with all the disparity in the world, we would rather spend our money on dead people than to alleviate the misery of a few that are still alive, not quite dead yet. But they're getting there. And that is a shame. We have a really screwed up sense of priorities here. But that's not a surprise in the Western world, where the United States, we're a young nation still, and who knows? There's still time. Maybe when we get to be as old as Rome, maybe maybe we'll have it figured out a little better. But yeah, that's been a lot of my thoughts the last week or so. Is there's been some very serious projects that I've been wanting to do, and honestly, at the age of 59, I'm going, why? You know, the Peter Diamandis, one of these characters on YouTube that I listen to, who talks about massive transformative purpose, and some of these projects that I've been thinking about, these uh, cooperatives built around crypto DAOs and local community rebuilding projects and such. And honestly, it's kind of boring stuff. It's a fuck of a lot of work. Most of the time, it probably won't work. Um, the people that you're trying to do it for probably won't care 2 years after you do it, or it'll all be burnt down. Your ego thinks up a million reasons why you shouldn't bother or waste your time with it. Um, and and honestly, I look at some of these things and I go, you know, with the remaining energies and time that I've left on this planet, do I really want to pour everything I've got into these cockamamie schemes? Uh, why? Why not just kick back, go on autopilot, let the world go fuck itself and do whatever it's going to do? Haven't I earned a rest? And that's compelling. And of course, it's wrong. Your ego always tries to think up good reasons to not do the hard work. um, I am reminded that with something somebody I was listening to some time ago was mentioning that you do the good because it's good, not because you expect an outcome. If you see yourself as a continuity, if you realize the story isn't about you, it's not. It's about what comes after you. You are part of a so far unbroken chain, a continuity of things that people did in the past to bring this current moment into being. And if you're satisfied with the world as it is, then good. And you should thank your lucky stars that the people that came before you blazed the path and did the things necessary for you to have the life you had. If you look around you and the world is a little deficient on a few things, well, who the hell do you think is going to fix it? And I am the master to blame for all of that. My generation is notorious for phoning it in, being cats, not joining, not protesting, just kind of sucking it up in silence and waiting for it all to pass. And it does, sort of. But that's not the end of the story. No, it is not. That's funny. This day and age, they still got airplanes with banners that they're flying over Los Angeles at 21st century, and we're still doing that. And not even using drones. They're still using just a regular Piper plane. That's kind of quaint and kind of stupid both at the same time. But what was I saying? Oh, that's an interesting couple there. You know, you don't see too many with photographs. Assholes, for some strange reason, seem to love to desecrate the graves that have the photographs on them. And I keep trying to find funny parts in some of these tombstones, but there just isn't some really good ones to poke fun at. Except maybe, you know, here we have O.K. Young. Apparently not anymore. He died in 1886. Waiting. I don't know what he's waiting for. Somebody's waiting for somebody. I guess they never showed up. Yeah, you know, you leave instructions, you draw a map, and still doesn't work out. Anyway, what was I saying? Probably nothing useful, as always. So, yeah, I was saying I get fixated on my own ego. I keep thinking my life is mine, and I can do with it as I want. and that there are no consequences to my actions except what I inflict upon myself. And when I'm dead, and it's someone else's problem to deal with. And that's extremely arrogant and wrong-headed, I think. There is a scene in the movie Cloud Atlas where one of the main characters is speaking out, and I've always found this phrasing very evocative, shall we say. The line goes something from our, what is it? Our lives are not our own. From womb to tomb we are bound to each other, and with every slight or every kindness we birth our future. And there's some playing on the idea of reincarnation, and well, I'm not a believer in reincarnation. Oh yeah, I'll come back something, more likely grass, tree. I don't think I'm coming back as anything like me. That would be a waste of time, wouldn't it? That would suck. That's the one thing I hated about reincarnation, is the idea of you get to be you forever, over and over again. Oh, God, I'm tired of myself already, and I'm not even dead this time yet. I can't imagine having to do this for eternity. I don't have the interest. I'm afraid me is a pretty one-dimensional character. I've pretty much got fleshed out. I've done all the variants of me that really makes sense at the moment. There's a whole lot more to it. Yeah, let me be something else. I think being a tree for 50 years or so might be a cool idea. Always wondered. But no, so this to remind yourself that you are not in a static environment. Even this is not static. It changes too, and it will pass. That we are in a dynamic, living universe. That everything we put out there has an effect. Just doing or not doing things because you're sure that they won't work, or not holding your principles and doing the right thing because you think, what does it matter? Or look at the harm it'll cause me and all that good stuff. That's extremely selfish and backwards thinking. As in a dynamic system, you don't get to do anything just once at all, over and over and over again. Life is brushing your teeth. You don't do it once and go, okay, done. Don't ever have to do that for the next 73 years. Nah. Whether it's learning math, whether it's doing good, whether it's mowing the lawn or brushing your teeth, everything is maintenance. Everything is a continuity of a dynamic process that you have to keep adding to. You have to keep redoing it. You have to keep relearning those lessons and reminding yourself of why you do the thing you do and why it's important, because we're human and we forget. Ritual is important. Picking a side is important. Doing the right thing because it's the right thing, even if you're going to fail, is important. You have to put it out there, because it doesn't end with you. It will have an effect somewhere. All of these lives had an effect somewhere. If for no other reason, because I'm standing in the middle of them, being reminded that all these people had lives and they did things. They built the world that I am part of now. And I am building the world that people after me will be part of. And if you could call me up out of my grave and ask me, why in the hell Did you just phone it in and half-ass it when you could have done it right? It would be that would be uncomfortable. Not to mention the fact, of course, I'd be dead. Um, uh, but no, we have to think about that. I mean, it's live our lives in reminder that with everything that we do in our lives, moment to moment, we are leaving a legacy, um, however subtle. Going back to Cloud Atlas again, there's like a final scene where they're interviewing one of the characters for historical record and such, and the interviewer asks, what's the point? The rebellion failed. Uh, you're going to be executed. Everyone else died. Everything that you are trying to change didn't change. No one will ever even hear this or remember it. And she looks back very, very insightfully to the interviewer and says, someone does. Someone already has remembered it. And whatever is going to be from the outcome of my actions has already been set in motion. And that's it. How damning to, it's very popular, of course, now in the 21st century at this point, where AI and robotics and self-driving cars and all that good stuff is about to vomit itself up into our reality and turn everything inside out and make things a great deal more weird than what we're normally used to. And people being afraid. Hell, I'm afraid. I just last week, I with the help of AI, put together a series of programs that if I had not had AI, with my 35 years of computer and programming skills, given a year and a half, I couldn't have wrote this program. It uses a dozen different components I'm not familiar with on an operating system platform I'm not familiar with. It had to run natively on 3 different platforms. It uses a cloud database. It uses a programming language that's built on another programming language. It's wrapped around another programming language. Inconceivable. If I'd had a year, maybe I could have put together something mediocre, kind of close. And ChatGPT, with my guidance, wrote it all in 26 seconds. And my eyes goggle, and I go, shit. 35 years of my life has just been thrown in the shit can. Damn it. And yeah, that worries you. It's funny watching that big hunk of metal float by like it was weightless. Airplanes always amaze me, especially they seem to track from LAX across Los Angeles very slowly. Anyway, yeah, it's unsettling. And a lot of people over the next several years are going to have their lives completely upended. Everything that they were about, because at least in my generation, you are your job. Well, most all those jobs are going to go away. What are you now? And the answer isn't I'm a pie hole that consumes matter. Hopefully there's more to it than that. That's going to be a hard question for people. What am I now? If I'm not the guy that goes to the job and does the thing and makes the money to buy the house and the car and pay for the kids' braces and all that good stuff, what am I now? Tricky. But yes, that continuity, that reminding yourself everything that you do matters. Everything that you do matters. Act as if God does exist. Act as if someone is watching. Act as if it does matter, because it does matter. Because someone is watching, probably. And if they're not watching, whatever you did will have an effect, for better or worse. Wouldn't you prefer to be on the right side of things? Rather than just someone who phoned it in and did the bare minimum. like I see at the cemetery where they've done the bare minimum of trying to keep it from falling apart. The joys of capitalism. But that, me getting off my ass, and there's an old saying, something about old men plant trees whose shade they'll never rest under, unless they're dead. And I'm reminded of that. My life is not my own. I am part of a continuity. I have a role in the waking world while I'm still awake. I can help bring the good into being, or sit back and let other people do the work. And wouldn't you feel better about yourself if you were on the other side of that? Do the good because it's the good. And it's not about you. And the more you grasp, the more you hang on, the more you try and make the story about you, the more pointless all of this is. Because it's not about you. Anyway, Sunday sermon, over and out.